Bonjour. Guten Morgen.
Hola,
And Buenos dias. That's
that's
the other,
how are you?
right? Because since our guest is in Barcelona today, I want to be as like multilingual as possible. But hello, everybody. Welcome to another record smashing edition of Six Questions with Dan and Michelle. What record are we smashing? The record for most times doing Six Questions with Dan and Michelle, because we break that record every time we do one. So congratulations, Michelle, for being part of
Congratulations,
this
Dan.
record-breaking achievement.
Gosh, what a good day to start our day.
I
Wait,
know.
there we go.
Yes, I know. We record this. We're actually recording this the day after Labor Day, so it feels like a Monday, but it's really a Tuesday. But the most important thing is that our guest is the spectacular Claudia Miclaus. Hi, Claudia.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hi, Dan. Hi, Michelle.
Thank you so much for doing this with us today. Claudia comes to us from Barcelona, and but we first met her in France, which is going to be like a whole thing we'll get into. But Claudia runs a really interesting personal branding company called Stellr, which we've had the chance to do some work with. So we'll get into that. But right, we've been wanting to have her as our guest for so long, and today it finally happens. So I hope you're ready for this because no one ever is. Um, but the only way to follow that is just to get into the questions. And so let's start the questions right now. Claudia, you own a company called Stellr. It was recently rebranded from Brand Capital Advisors. You founded it, it's your vision, and the whole basis is personal branding for, I guess it's fair to say, leaders and business executives. Kind of explain to us what is that concept and why did you decide that it was the one you wanted to embrace in business?
You're not necessarily speaking about the rebranding, you're speaking about the business overall.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Well, I started to be in personal branding because of my own existential crisis while I was living in the US, because that's what the US is giving you. I mean, that's what it
Okay.
gave me. So that is the best part. I mean, you said keep it fun. Well, I'm keeping it real and fun. So it was beautiful because, out of a moment like that, I ended up, with a business. And it feels very beautiful. It feels natural. And I kind of have the feeling that there's a responsibility because leaders in general, they have a lot of responsibility themselves. So for me and for my team to be able to work with the message they put out, to help them with the responsibility they're having, I think that is huge. And we need
Mhm.
to collectively be aware of what these messages are because they influence a lot of people. So I
Mhm.
personally am passionate about that.
Yeah, and what's interesting about Stellr, because I mean, here what we do, in marketing content, we're generally working for corporate clients. Like our client is the business, whereas yours are more the executives within the business. And as you've described it to us, the personal branding work is something that they would actually take with them as they make moves in their career. So that's a little bit of a different emphasis. And you've got to approach that in a different way.
Yes, well, generally these businesses and corporations and large enterprises, they don't have internal departments for personal branding, except PayPal. I don't know if you've recently seen this. PayPal actually is one of the first companies to hire head of CEO content
Okay.
because they
Oh,
understand how important it is. Yeah, and it's a $200,000 job.
wow.
So they understand. So it's like we're going more and more into understanding that executives and the executive team needs positioning. So you take their internal leadership to external leadership, so you don't just position the company, you position the people, and they don't have these internal departments in the business. The internal departments are taking care of the communication of the business
Mm-hmm.
and not of the communication for specific people in the business, if it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. And I mean, you saw a need in the market that either wasn't being filled or wasn't being filled as it should have been, and you jumped in and did it. And that's what smart entrepreneurs do.
Well, thank you.
All right, Claudia, I'm so curious about your favorite type of client, or like maybe an experience you had. Can you tell us maybe a little bit about, I don't know, maybe your dream client even?
Yeah. My favorite type of client is the client who just lets me do or let us do what we have to do, and he doesn't stress out about how that actually happens. Because we have clients and they're like trying to um, they're just too present, too present, you
Yeah.
know. We need to like chill down so we can do our job. So those are my favorite clients, the clients who are
Yeah.
busy but also responsive, you know, because sometimes micromanaging, I mean, actually it never works, micromanaging. So
Yeah.
my favorite type of client is the executive client who is very, very busy, but also is prioritizing his brand and is prioritizing responding to the WhatsApp messages, but doesn't stress out. Just trusts us to deliver what we have to deliver.
Oh, that's huge. Do you
Yeah.
find, I don't know if I run into a lot of those people.
Oh, we have a couple of them, and it
Yeah.
feels, yes, it feels amazing. I actually recently told something to a client of mine, and he's like, Claudia, with you in charge, I'm not worried about anything. He's like, I don't even
Oh,
think about it. I trust you. I don't even think about
Yeah.
it. And I'm like, oh, it is like perfect.
oh, I love
Yeah.
that. I
There's
agree.
sometimes there's fine lines sometimes between that trusting you and chilling about it, and then this disengagement that you don't want. I mean, you want them to be interested, but at the same time, it's kind of like it's in a different realm. But I've been told like if you invest in the stock market, don't check the stock listings every day. It'll drive you crazy. But
Yes.
but like you said, you've got to sort of trust the process and trust the people you're working with. And I can understand why your clients would have that confidence in you because you do sort of exude that.
And they run a business. They should focus on the business, not on their personal brand.
Right. That's what you're for.
Yep.
Let us take care of the personal brand and you focus on running the business. That's the
Right.
Yeah.
most important part. Yeah.
Claudia, you are actually a native of Romania, now in Barcelona. And I'm interested to just have you tell us a little bit about your journey from your upbringing in Romania to what you're doing now, especially because in my experience, and I know quite a few other people from Romania, and in my experience, people from Eastern Europe are bolder as entrepreneurs than those from the West. But everybody has their own stories. So kind of tell us how did you sort of make the journey from, and I don't mean the physical or geographic journey, but how did you go from this young woman growing up there to what you're doing now?
Right. Well, to go into the first part of the question, when you're born in Eastern Europe compared to other more developed countries, you hustle by default because there's not a lot out there. So you need
Yeah,
to
yeah.
invent, you need to innovate, you know, think about like, I don't know, like anything. You know, we needed to find out ways to create the things that we wanted because we only saw, you know, at the TV that something was available. I'm like, wow, I wonder how I can do that, you know, do it yourself projects. You know, that's what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
So I think by default, Eastern European people, and especially I was born in Romania. So when I was born, it was still a communist country. So, you know, you're born with that like mindset that nothing is available to you, that everything is hard. And it also makes you resilient. You're like, nah, this cannot be true because I saw it and I know it's possible. If
Hmm.
other people do it, it means that it's possible by nature. If it's possible by nature, it's possible for me. So I just need to break that. My journey was a little different. My dad was a police officer, so I grew up with a police officer with kind of like military in my house, and
Mm.
my mom was working in IT at the time. And I was kind of like a rebel. I never really accepted anything they told me, and I actually went to study. I have two university degrees and I have two MBAs, but they didn't mean anything to me. Like I was studying my second MBA, and I went and I sold bracelets in the Caribbean. I wanted to live had no money and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna make bracelets and I'm gonna sell bracelets. And I was all the time lucky, like, you know, people would come and they would be like, hey, let me buy all of them. And I'm like, perfect, thank you. You know,
Oh,
those kind of things happened. Of course, this was not for a very long period of time, but I take pride because this is my experience and this is my journey. And I have done a lot of things to be, where I am today, like from selling bracelets to working with people from the World Economic Forum. And, the journey was like
Hmm.
up and down a lot. And I take a lot of pride in how hard of a hustler I am and how I just don't give up, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, I love what you said, especially at the beginning of the answer, because I think you're right. I sometimes think that there's an inverse to that when it comes to those of us from the West, that for so many generations, the idea has been to make life as easy as possible for us here, that in a lot of ways it's made us soft. We
And
we
lazy.
what's that?
And lazy.
Yeah, yeah, like if there's a problem to solve, we freak out. I can't deal with a problem. Whereas where you grew up, learning to solve problems and get past obstacles and find ways to get through it when it's hard, that was what you always did.
Mhm.
So I'm sure some gave up, and I'm sure some were crushed by it. But everything I see, like you said, you never give up. And I know enough about, you know, I've dealt with you enough that I know it's not easy for you every day.
Yeah.
But every day you face it.
Yeah.
And I really do think that having grown up in a place like Eastern Europe is a lot of what can impart that on you if you have the spirit to say, okay, I want to become strong in that way.
The only thing I can do is agree with everything you said.
Why doesn't everybody just do that all the time?
Yeah.
Would make your life so much easier.
And everybody else's too, really.
Claudia, I see you doing so many cool things online. Like, I want one of your photos on my wall because they're stunning. You're doing photo shoots. It looks like you're doing something music related. So, like, what's up? What's going on?
My goodness, I'm allowing my inner child to come out and
I
stop
love
punishing little girl.
it.
Yeah, to be honest, I arrived to a moment in my life when I no longer want to disengage parts of myself just so I look professional online. Because a lot of people make a difference in between, they make a confusion, not a difference. There is a big difference, but a lot of people make a confusion in between professional branding and personal branding. Professional branding is generally what we see online, on LinkedIn, all these people who are like posting only about their job. But personal branding means really like bringing all those parts of you together and all those parts of you home.
Yeah.
And big part of me is creativity, making music, like sitting down. I wrote 3 songs last week just because I was in pain. And I'm like, let me process this, like channel all this energy that I have into something that is actually useful. So I think I'm just in a stage of my life where I no longer want to play roles,
Mhm.
where I want to bring all these parts of me together. And yes, I'm an entrepreneur, and yes, I am a musician, and yes, I'm a speaker, and none of that is me, and all of that is me. You
Yeah.
know?
And
Yeah.
there's a certain vulnerability that comes with that too. To be able to share art or to just that's intimate. Like you said, you were feeling something, so you wrote something like that's beautiful. It's beautiful and it's something that we all relate to. And there's this fear, like you're saying, there's the fear, confusion, and this is what makes us. We're human. We're like I love it. I love what you're doing. I'm so
Hey,
excited. And I'm serious. Like I've gone to because I love shopping. So I can see like photos that you've taken, especially with like the nice car and the sunglasses and like that is such a like as a girl, like women love that. Like it's like, yes, oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. Like I love that you're embracing it and you're sharing that because it's true. And
wow.
that's awesome.
Yeah. You have no idea how spontaneous that photo shoot was, the one that you're
Yeah.
talking. It actually happened in 5 minutes. My hair was not even done. That's the reason I had a towel
Yeah.
even.
Well,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
because it
was
was
lucky because my friend had his car parked downstairs, and I
mm,
told him like, "Hey, I had a crazy idea. Can you just like not come to pick up your car right now? Because I just want to take a crazy photo." And he's like,
mm.
"Yeah." whatever. I'm like, perfect.
Oh my gosh. It's great because it's like it's messy and it's beautiful and it's woman. Like it's I'm here.
Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you. Well, only one more thing on this. The CEO of Goldman Sachs, you know him, David
Mhm.
Solomon,
Yeah.
DJ, and that's a multi-billion dollar company. I think it's a $6 billion company, whatever. And I'm like, if he can be a DJ and also have all these other executive presidents and CEO, why can't we,
Yeah.
all of us who do
Yeah.
not run, billion dollar businesses? And I'm like, it's not fair for us to not do the things that we want to do because we're afraid and we're scared, you
Yeah.
know?
It's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's become quite a rebellious countercultural thing to be your authentic self.
Mhm.
And it's about time.
I agree.
Okay, Claudia, when we first met you, we met you at a crypto conference in Chamonix. Everything about that is kind of wild. Um, and you were based in Chamonix at the time, were you not? Okay, so I have to say, when you relocated to Barcelona, at first I was kind of bummed because I wanted to know someone in Chamonix, and you weren't there. Um, but why did you decide? And for those who don't know, Chamonix is situated in the French Alps. It's a beautiful place,
Yes.
which we spent like I don't know a day and a half in. We loved it. But what was behind the decision to relocate to Barcelona?
When I was based in Chamonix, and initially when I decided to move to Chamonix, I was obsessed about backcountry snowboarding. And
Okay.
I did for a very long time. I had a moment in which I had to be rescued off the mountain by 12 mountain rescuers, and I was stuck in a
Oh,
mountain for a very long time. I made it to nine newspapers just because I was one of those people. Like I was labeled as an American, even though I'm not an American, obviously. I was with an American, and they were like, kind of like they were saying, like, two stupid Americans needed to be rescued off the mountain because they, excuse my language, but exactly like that's what the headlines were saying. And I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna react to this. But anyway, I survived. And slowly, slowly, because of that event, I started to lose interest in doing anything dangerous. I
Mhm.
still enjoy snowboarding and I do snowboard a lot, but in the same time, I don't need to be based in Chamonix anymore. So I started to slowly, slowly flirt with the idea of being in a bigger town that gives me access to more resources, so I can explore different parts of myself. And Barcelona is great, and it was a fantastic decision. In 1 hour and a half, I'm in the Pyrenees, so in the mountains here in the north. I'm 5 minute bike ride from the beach. It's a fantastic place. It's international. I speak the language. It makes a lot of sense. So it's very beautiful. You should visit, guys.
Yeah. All right.
oh,
I'm in.
All right.
done. Done.
Okay, that's fine.
How soon will you be ready for us?
Yeah, perfect.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that's so cool that you know how to snowboard. Like, it sounds like well. I mean, I know you got that problem, but
Except for
like,
that one time.
but oh my gosh. I feel like if I want to so bad, but I'm scared I'm gonna hurt myself.
Well, I mean, in everything you do, there's a risk,
I know
right?
I'm gonna hurt myself. I already know I will, but like I want to because I want to be like
Didn't
cool.
stop you from BMXing.
Yeah, and I broke my arm.
Well, right now you're just going through life proving yourself that something's gonna happen. It's not gonna work.
I know. That's why I'm not gonna try it. I'll just watch you do it and I'll take all the photos. I'll be like, this is the coolest moment of my life. Claudia, what do you love most about the future in front of you?
That's a very beautiful question. And to respond in question, like you do in school, what I love most about the future in front of me is really this concept of multidimensionality, of embracing all the parts and not making anything wrong and just embracing that exploratory phase without labeling it as good or bad or right or wrong, just like exploration. I think that is very beautiful, So I want to take everything that I do at a super high level, but also not beating myself up that is not happening in the timeline that I had in my own mind, and to allow myself to like be patient with my goals because generally they're very big. You
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That there's so much wisdom in what you just said because the pursuit of goals, it almost never happens on a precise timeline that you can put on it. And I think one of the things that happens to people is because it doesn't happen on the timeline they want, they feel like they're failing. And you're not, you're just learning to overcome obstacles along the way. And so saying like I'm not insisting that this has to happen in a year or this has to happen in 5 years. You're doing so much good for yourself by thinking about it that way.
I needed a lot of therapy to get there, so thank you.
Right there with you. I
All
agree.
right. So what we're very grateful for the opportunity to sort of be along for your journey
Yeah. Can't
because
wait to come and see you.
everything we've been able to do with you has been really cool and we've loved working with you and getting to know just how you think and how you handle things. So thanks for being a part of it and thank you for doing this today, Claudia.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for having me. And just so you know, I'm very grateful to both of you.
Mm. And if anyone else needs to know, and they should know Claudia, and they should know Stellar, and if you need personal branding, contact her. You have all of her contact information.
Yeah, in fact, we'll put the web address like right in front of the screen right now. It's
Yes.
there as I speak. So by all means, do that. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks Michelle for co-hosting. We'll see you again next time for another 6 questions with Dan and Michelle.